Evening all, welcome back to the moon, and as we go through shooting chosen allocates in the face, missing actually quite a lot, let's talk a bit more about Destiny. Now, interesting kind of conversation in the last video, hopefully you saw it, about should you buy a console versus blah 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 blue, and to be honest, I mean, let me kind of give you my position on this. I would love to own an Xbox One. I'd love to own a PS4. I'd love to own all the consoles effectively and just have them lined up in a row. I used to do that. That was actually what I did. I kind of never really got involved with the whole Xbox PS3 malarkey. But before then, with the whole Mega Drive Segas and the SNES and all that, I actually did go and buy them all. I used to work my little bum off and go and get basically whatever I could afford. And I did a kind of cunning thing. In fact, what I used to do was I used to go to cash converters, which is it actually wasn't called cash converters. It was a pawnbroker down the bottom of town. Every town has got one. This thing was down the bottom of town, basically under the rail bridges. It was pretty dodgy. If you went there kind of around 6 o'clock, you'd see these kind of very scantily clad, dressed ladies with kind of very high knee boots on, kind of just waiting around for people. I don't know what they were doing, but they just seemed to be there for ages, really. And every time I walked by, they're ever so polite. They're always saying, am I looking for a good time? And I was always saying, yeah, I always am. So I'm a very happy young man. I'm off to buy a PS3 or I'm off to buy a Super Nintendo, and I'd whistle as I carry on. And I'd always wonder why they kind of give me some strange looks. Maybe it's they're not gamers. Maybe. Who knows? But anyway, that's a funny thing. I don't know what the story was there, but anyway, so down the bottom of town there was this basically these shops, and I've said it before actually a while back, but the guy in this shop was just, I think he fancied me. And I'm not that way inclined, but I'm not a negative person to any lifestyle choices that people make, and I kind of was just like, I'd buy whatever I could, and he always seemed to give me a rather big discount as long as I just stayed and talked to him for like a few minutes. It was a bit creepy now I look back on it, but I was a young man, not stupid. I kind of was aware of what was going on, but the way I saw it, and I know that's kind of creepy as shit, but hey, at the end of the day, I got Streets of Rage and a Mega Drive for like a tenner, and I got a Super Nintendo with I think it was it must have been about 30, 40 games for like 50 quid. I mean, back then, that was still quite a lot of money, but comparatively, it was like 300 quid's worth of stuff. So no, I'm not going to complain at that. And I guess that makes me a bit of a whore, to be honest. So there you go. That's what those women were doing. Yeah. Used to be that that kind of scenario was very good for buying used games and consoles, etc. Now, to be honest, there is a wonderful thing called eBay now, where people just sell whatever. For example, if you want to buy a PS4, you certainly can now, and it's secondhand. You can just go to eBay and buy it on there. You can go to Amazon and buy a secondhand one from a company with a warranty if you so wish. So don't kind of see that as a negative. I'm kind of giving you options, bro. And I think, to be honest, if you want to upgrade to a PS4 and you're really considering it, then go for it, because it'll give you enjoyment, and you should never deny yourself enjoyment in your life at any point, because I mean, YOLO, isn't it? You only live once, unless you're of the kind of Buddhist persuasion, but even then you've only got one life before you start again. So I would honestly say, if you can afford it and you're interested and you're tempted, then go for it, and you'll probably have an amazing time and you'll really enjoy it. I think, to be honest, we've kind of committed that we're going to carry on playing it on the PS3 for some time, but eventually maybe we will migrate. Maybe we'll see how that goes. But I'm not in any kind of big rush to kind of migrate right yet. So there we go. To be honest, if you are a collector of these things, I know a lot of you are collectors of old consoles, for example, I would highly recommend you go and look downtown, and you go and see what you've got down there in terms of secondhand shops. You've got things like CEX, which I don't know if they have in other countries. I remember seeing one in New York, but it may have been something different, and they're basically just secondhand games and video market kind of stalls. They do great deals on consoles as well, and I think as long as you don't mind the fact that it belonged to some crack house and some poor woman lost the PS3 to pay for a crack, so she can carry on in her crack house with a crack baby with a crack boyfriend. As long as you can kind of be the bastard in that, and you don't mind buying somebody's repossessed items, then Fair enough. But anyway, that's your call entirely. I honestly think when you look at the second-hand market, though, it is surprising how many PS4s and Xbox Ones are coming through. I think people maybe bought them for some reason and then they're trading them in now. So definitely worth considering. And the interesting thing is the balance of it is there's a lot more PS4s being traded in than Xbox Ones, probably because a lot more PS4s were sold. So there we go. Crikey, I'm talking about God knows what. Let's talk about Destiny again. Now, to be honest, the interesting thing here is, look at this. This level keeps going down and down and down. And just when you think you've got to like the basement of it, there's another level down. And it's kind of a bit spooky because the enemies are getting harder as well. Really, really harder. I think that the mission system must take us through the moon at this point as well, through these levels, because you know, as we come down here, it looks like a dead end. Oh, no, it's not. It goes down even further. So it's pretty, I mean, again, it's pretty awesome. I've got to admit, I love the fact that the maps are huge. If you ever played Stalker, Call of Pripyat, you'll know what I'm on about here, because Stalker was, I guess the only way to describe it was what inspired DayZ, pretty much. And it was an open world, map-based, leveled place where you would look around for, you know, loot and stuff like that. But what made it good was it was the kind of beginning of the whole persistent, tough game, and it really was what inspired DayZ, because you had hungers. I think actually they removed the hunger mechanic from it, so you had to put that back in, and so on. But yeah, it was a really tough game, deliberately tough, because they wanted to create a game that was that it rewarded you if you explored, and so it had every nook and cranny had something in it. And the particular mod that I loaded up had hidden guns all across the map, which some of them were ridiculously good guns, and it rewarded you to go find them. Anyway, long story short, that's pretty much what Destiny, again, has tapped into, that feeling that you can pretty much explore this whole area, go and enjoy yourself, knock yourself out. And I just celebrate that so much. To me, that is the fun part of this game, is that kind of delving deeper into the God knows what of the moon and unlocking its secrets. That is pretty awesome. I do hope it's not too much of a rail shooter. I know at the moment the mission system is very linear, but I'm hoping that eventually it becomes much more of a, I don't know, an open world thing where pretty much you can just, well, I know you can go and explore, that's a given, but I'm hoping that it's a bit more than that. Maybe there'll be kind of more instanced things. I don't know. I really like the idea of all of a sudden having instanced PvP, for example, or instanced, you know, wider stuff going on. I'm quite excited about stuff like that. Look at that, Hallowed Knight. They're getting tougher as we drop down as well. It's getting more and more difficult with these dudes. But again, I love it. Watching how a gang takes down something as tough as this is just gorgeous. It really is. It is amazing stuff. And look at that, he's basically completely, you know, in trouble because we're going to get him, and we stabbed him in the back. Oh, you gotta love it. Now unfortunately one of us had to take one for the team there, and it was Josh. Sorry, Josh. But I think this game is just, it really is shaping up to be something quite excellent, and I think there are very few games out there that really give you the kind of feeling of wonder, and I think this game is certainly one of them, because you do have this. As we delve deeper, we're just thinking, oh my god, what is this? What is the purpose of this? It's not like they've just designed a map to be big and then said, go on, there you go. They've actually built it with purpose. So if you look around the Cosmodrome, every level you get to kind of has a purpose. There's something there. There's a reason. So we're in the temples now. And then this will come out, you know, in the top there's like different areas for where rockets are landing. There's different this, there's different that. It is wonderful, wonderful stuff. So I kind of really like the functional nature of it. It really does remind me of Stalker. And Stalker was a game that I played the hell out of, because I wanted to find every little secret nook and cranny, and every hidden tunnel, and every hidden little bunker and that. And it was terrifying to do because the enemies in that were so difficult. But what I think gives me this kind of, you know, warm fuzzy feeling about it is that there is just so much here to do. And I think even when you've played like one map through, if you've got 4 or 5 large open world maps, there's a good 6 months worth of play possibly there. unless you completely go nuts about it, you know, you're going to spend your time really enjoying everything about those maps. And I really hope that's what they do. I do hope they make this game without end. So, you know, yes, there can be a story end that maybe they can add to, like Halo. I'd be more than happy for that. But I think what else is needed is that kind of feeling of persistence, a continued ongoing war between us and the various enemies. And I think that would be very nice indeed. There we go, encrypted engram of my race class. So I've actually just got a new cloak there. There you go. A new cloak. But this is it. So eventually we got to these closed doors, which I imagine will only open in the missions. And that was after a lot of play, hours of play. We basically found our way finally to the very basements of this temple. And even then, there was still plenty here to explore and find. So look, another bloody open area. So I kind of really do think this is going to be something amazing. I really do. And I hope you're as excited as I am. Well, you must be because you're watching a video of it. But I really do think this is going to be something quite special indeed. And I think really it's just now a case of deciding what you want to play it on and how you want to play it and so on. And I think a lot of it does come down to what your friends playing it on, you know, what are they playing, etc. And as I say, we're going to play it on PS3. So if you want to play with us, then just stick on the PS3, and you know that's the nice cheap option for you there. And it just means you don't have to go out and buy a PS4. The worst thing I could do would be say, hey, let's go and buy a PS4 and you can play with me, because that's a douche move. We're not going to do that. I would rather just say, look, you've all got PS3s because you play Dust, right, bro, right. So we'll just play it on PS3 to begin with. Over time, as more people maybe migrate, maybe we'll move. But I think right now, it's not a priority. There we go, last few kind of ebbs of this particular video. I think this is an interesting kind of team dynamic. I think what I would love to see a little bit more is if a bit more support. Oh, look at that, beautiful blade, beautiful blade. I would love to see a little bit more kind of, oh, I'm poisoned. That's interesting. I would love to see a little bit more kind of team-based support. So the ability to drop ammo packs for the whole team to use, maybe, I thought was a nice thing that is in Dust that I would love to have seen in this. And I think there's a few kind of things like that. And look at this. The only thing I remember seeing from this was, oh, look, it's our SquadB logo on the floor. It's a hexagon. Right, chill, it's a hexagon. So there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I think we are loving Destiny. I think it's going to become a massive staple of our channel. So, you know, I really do hope you're enjoying it, because you're going to be seeing quite a lot of it if you watch our stuff. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.